Hello, everybody. Friday Eve. How is everybody doing today? Today we have just a chit-chat show. We're going to just chit-chat a little. Let me just do this, and hit that. I played around. I got that going. That didn't take me too long. 5 minutes, I get that done. There's the link, Dolly, if you want to come in and talk. And right now we got Jerry in the house with us. Hey, Jerry, how you doing?
Doing good. How about you?
Good. I was talking to Jerry a few minutes ago. Went to an estate sale with Sandy. Dropped the baby off at doggy daycare so she could get her play on with some other doggies because she needs that. I picked this up from, what does it say, 2008, 2006? I think I got glasses on. 2008. For $1, not bad.
What is it? Oh, buttons.
Yeah. Beatles. Just a little something for my collection. Like it better with the Joker. Yeah. See, now I don't have to go from screen to screen, hit this, hit that. Now it's in there. Bing, bang, boom, all done. So that's cool. So let's say hello to a few people like Dolls Dolly.
Hello.
I sent Dolly the link. Dolly came on yesterday. You were with us, Jerry. She came on for like the last 3 minutes.
Yep.
She was working on her house all down to the studs.
I remember my first house that I had up in Lynn. It was like that. It was all gutted out, and I was putting it all together.
Yep.
I remember those days.
Yeah, we had our first rental we bought here was a manufactured home, and it was good. It was good. You know, it had a 1/4 acre lot. I had my second tenant in there who was on the last 3 months of a lease that she had renewed for the third time. And all of a sudden, you know, well, the check's in the mail. Check's in the mail. It's one of those. All right. So what's going on? No answer. I drive by because it was only, 5 miles away from our living house.
And the place is empty.
Basically. The side door was wide open. So I walk in. I don't know if I thought I told you this story. I walk in, and there is just crap everywhere, piled in the middle of the room. Because when you walk in on the side, you're in the great room, as they call it in Florida. And I'm looking, and there's roaches. And I said, "Oh, sugar." I didn't say it that way. I walk into the kitchen, and the fan above the stove, it's a manufactured stove, manufactured house. So the stove is a little smaller. It was melted to the stove, and there was fire damage. So she must have been freebasing or whatever. So my blood pressure popped. I said, "What's going on? Do what you have to do. I'm in rehab." Great. So I called my attorney. He said, "You still got to do eviction." 41 days later, I got the writ of possession, had guys come in. I said, "Got it. Just get everything out." they pick up a bunch of crap and a million roaches just scattered everywhere. I mean, just skeeved you out. You know, it was hard to sleep that week. So then they cleaned it out. And instead of putting it on the curb like you're supposed to, I said, it's crap. I rented a dumpster. I said, just throw it away. Got another crew in there after them. I said, I want to take it all down to the studs. So, of course, being Florida, we found termite damage and stuff, repaired everything. It was beautiful. And then we sold it. It's like, you know, do I want to go through this again? And
Nope.
so it was, but I mean, yeah, once you take your old walls and ceiling and floors and everything and you put everything brand new, it's like a new house again, you know?
But that's why I never wanted to be a landlord. I was like, I just don't want to deal with it because, especially when I was there up north, when we were house hunting at the time, our realtor kept saying, well, get this multifamily. And I'm like, looking at it like, no. I said, I'm at work all day dealing with anywhere from 5 to 7 guys, plus all the teachers and the other staff that's at the school. You think I want to come home and hear someone say, my toilet stopped up, my hot water doesn't, it's like, no, I don't want to deal with it. I want to come home and relax and say, I'm done for the day.
True. My nephew, he had, I think he bought 4 homes in New Hampshire, and he was, and he hated it because it was always something. It was always, but I said, just keep doing it, you know, because he's a licensed electrician in New Hampshire. So he had contacts for other trades, but he just sold his last one. He sold them all because he didn't want to deal with it anymore.
Yeah. And it's like they said, you can get Section 8 in and you get top dollar for your area. So if like the rent is $2,000, you're going to get $2,000. But then if you got to try to get them out, you can't. And
right.
Like,
that's what I remember from our first house in Massachusetts. It could be 6 to 8 months to a year to evict somebody.
Yeah, under Section 8. Yep.
No, even just regular too.
Well, I know because they said that Section 8, it's like, you know, like passing a government law.
Exactly. Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't want to deal with it then. I'm like, nope.
Right.
I'd rather have my own place and just me.
Yep. Here in Florida, if you follow the letter of the law, and it's best to have an attorney do it, they'll charge you $450 to $550 to do it. 41 days from the day it starts to the day you get rid of possession, which is fantastic. You know, but you do have to follow the letter of the law because one misstep and you got to start all over again. But I don't know. I mean, I always told my son, I said, look into a 2-family or a 3-family. Let the other floors pay for the house. Sure, you'll have to do some repairs and stuff like that. But if you really don't want to hear it, that's why they have property management companies. Yeah. Let them take all the crap calls at 10, 11 o'clock at night. Of course, the air conditioner is going to break on a Sunday at 5 o'clock.
Yeah, that's like what happened to us here. We came home after visiting my parents up in the villages when they were living up there. And we came home and it's like 7:30 at night. And we're sitting there and all of a sudden we thought it was like a electrical circuit burning. So I went around, I'm like smelling sockets all over the house and everything. It turned out the motor in the AC unit went.
Oh, wow.
And so we called up the management place and they're like, well, we can't get anybody there till Monday. I'm like, so what are we supposed to do in the meantime? You know?
Yeah. Oh, I know. Let's continue on. Sorry for taking a little detour there, but everybody, thanks for coming in. Nettie, Penny was in Facebook, and Steve, I went to school with Steve for years and years and years. How are you on Facebook? Come over to the YouTube side and chat along with everybody. I don't know what everybody else's school was like, but from grade school all the way up to high school, people, now Steve's last name begins with an L, but A, B's, and C's were all in the same homeroom and classes. Just about everybody that ended in A last name A, B, and C. We were together a whole school term. But Melanie's in the house. Hey, Penny. Thank you for sharing the link, Penny. Storage Scavenger in the house. Not only in the house, but in the house. I'm going to bring him on in a second. Dolls Dolly must be still working her fingers to the bone. I think I asked her the other day, I says, how many times did you hit your thumb with the hammer so far? I think she said a couple. Marrakesh 7, how are you? Storage Scavenger still in the house and in the house. Pages, Films, and Plastics, thanks for coming in. Melanie's doing well. Melanie has become like the wholesale queen with all these deals she's getting. I'm going to listen, not much on chit chat while listening. Well, if you have a topic you'd like to bring up, let us know. Spreading Cheer is in the house, spreading some cheer. Don't usually hear that until we get closer to Christmas.
I was going to say, is it Christmas already?
Yeah, but that's a cool name. January House, in the house. How you doing, Mike? America, Florida has a lot of mobile homes. They have mobile homes and manufactured homes. Mobile homes are one that you can hook up a trailer to and pull it away. Manufactured homes are the ones that the two halves that go together, and then they sit on pylons, or usually they have the skirting around the bottom. Both here in Florida have a life expectancy of 25 years. After that, good luck trying to get insurance. And we've been looking to get a house back home to go home. And I asked the realtor not that long ago, I have to ask a friend of mine, I says, how come mobile homes there or manufactured homes there, they're not called manufactured, and there's nothing mentioned about the age? I says, here, after 25 years, you can't really get insurance. You can't even get a loan for one. And she really didn't know. I thought that was unusual. But the nice thing up there is most of them are on foundations. So you have a full basement. Here, it's a crawl space. And I had to
call it a crawl space.
Yeah.
You have to be very thin to get under that space.
Yep. I had the one that I had redone. We had to have it re-leveled also in order to get insurance. Texas has a very odd law. If someone keep overnight bag in a house for 24 hours, you need to evict them. Same law. You are allowed to shoot and kill. That was like the other day. People are saying, I live in Texas. I carry. Okay. Old school picker in the house. How you doing?
Well, that's like, I think up north in Massachusetts. If you're living with a girl, or all she has to do is actually have her stuff in your closet for, I believe it's 6 months straight, and you're considered common law married.
Crazy. Crazy. I'm keeping my fingers crossed on a sweet deal I am trying to work on with a local place. I won't know. A local place, I'm assuming you mean real estate. I would definitely, because the interest rate is the lowest it is or has been in history right now. If it doesn't come to be, they're talking about the springtime. We'll have another bubble where the values will crash a little because of the influx of evictions and foreclosures. Unfortunately, all these people got caught up in these phony forbearance.
I think a lot's also going to depend on who gets elected in November and what happens there.
Yep. Wholesale deal. Oh, Melanie she's got her arms and hands and everywhere on everything.
Fingers and.
Wow. So I almost forgot. James Storage Scavenger, how are you?
Good afternoon. How's everybody doing today?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing good. been busy all morning, but we got an auction actually going on in about an hour, so I'm not going to have very long. I just wanted to stop in and say hi to everybody.
Okay.
I
So
just came from an auction, so
yeah,
Yeah,
you
and
were on with Fluffy.
yes, I was.
I know.
Oh,
I
you
stopped in for a few minutes.
Were you watching that one when it went sky high?
Well, no, I was just there for a few minutes. I came in and said hi and watched for a few minutes, and then I had to leave. I've been trying to get set up for my own auctions. So
Because I was telling Paul that it went crazy over there. I did I think it was like around like 40 shirts and a couple of mugs, and it went for over $2,000.
wow.
So,
nice. History in a box. And you open it up and you get $2,000. Nice. Paul, are you ready for the holiday season this year? It's going to be different. Boy, is it ever going to be different.
And we
I
don't
just-
know which is it going to be up or down. We don't really know.
Well, it's going to be 90+% online. We know that.
Yeah.
oh,
Well, I
know
agree.
also-
I think it's. I was telling somebody just the other day. This right now is absolutely the best time to be a reseller and to be a YouTuber.
Yeah.
Because YouTube is still moving. You got to realize there's most places are starting to open up and open back up, but there's still places on lockdown, which means there's people sitting at home. There's also lots of businesses that have closed down. Those people are still sitting at home because they don't have a job now. So there's lots of eyes on YouTube right now. And one of the biggest search terms on YouTube right now is how to make money from home.
Right. And
so
that's true.
those of us that are doing reselling should be targeting those keywords with our videos and getting people into this reselling community and teaching them how to start their own business.
Right. Well, Sandy and I went to a couple of estate sales, and the furthest one away was 2 hours away. And there's a lot of places, a lot of empty buildings now, empty storefronts, closed permanently. Thank you for the years of support. So it's going to be.
And rents. I saw one the other day and I was like, if I was in a position to take advantage of it, I would. But they were asking for like $300 a month for rent for a store space.
Damn.
Like, that's almost what I'm paying for my storage unit where I'm storing all my stuff because I got 2 units.
Wow.
And I was just like, but then I'd have to pay utilities and everything else. And I'm just not stable enough right now. If I was further along with where I'm trying to get to, I would have that to do. But
right.
I know U-Haul and Budget and all them did do it a fortune. All we ever do is see their trucks going all over the place.
Yeah, there was probably 3 or 4 in this neighborhood, and then somebody on the neighborhood website says, "Why is everybody leaving?" And it's like, well, yeah, I felt like saying a few things, but I didn't. I kept my mouth shut.
Yeah, they're losing their jobs. They have no money.
I mean, y'all, the main industry is tourism, and tourism's shut down. So,
yeah. Although, where we board our Maddie, the pet place, it's on a road here called Sand Lake Road that goes to like Orlando all the way in. If you keep going straight on that road, Universal Studios is on the right. So I look to the left and there must be, I don't know, 100 acres or whatever. It's a huge plot of land and there's a ton of work going on with it. And I said to Sandy, I says, I wonder if that's going to be the new Nintendo land for Universal Studios. So, because that's what they were working on before this all happened. So I asked them when I picked up Maddie, I said, is that going to be the new Nintendo? She says, yes, it is. She says, this road is going to go crazy when that opens. So they're still building, and yet not Universal, but Disney last week lowered their hours for the second time since they reopened. And I guess they're due to do their quarterly income report or whatever.
And they still lost money, they said.
Yeah.
And the thing is, though, is that they're still charging a fortune to get in.
Yep.
And all they're doing is just saying, sign a waiver, and we don't care.
Right. Okay. Thanks for coming in.
Although, did you just see that AMC says that when they open up at the end of the month, the first week, I think it's the
15
first week.
cents.
Yeah, it's going to be 15 cents to get in.
Yep. And popcorn for buttered popcorn would be $25 for a small one.
And what
Yeah.
I don't get is that when, like you said, when you drive around here, everything, is, businesses are closing, but yet they're still building houses. And I'm
Yeah.
like, why are they building? Who's going to live in these places? There's no jobs here. They're all gone.
Right.
You know,
Yeah,
and
that's what blows my last time Johnny came down, a friend of ours from Massachusetts, he said the same thing. He says, they're building all these retail stores and all these, and where are they going to get people to work in them? And it's like now everything's empty and
People wishing they had those kind of jobs right now.
Yeah.
I mean, the
And
people on
what state are you in, James?
Texas.
You're in Texas.
I'm between Austin and San Antonio.
Okay. Paul, wait, $25 for popcorn. Why aren't they discounting the popcorn?
Because it cost them that much to make.
That's it.
But they're all
They
they're going to be
charge per kernel.
showing, they said, is like Star Wars and all the old Jaws and all the old movies.
Yeah, that's what that's what the drive-in's doing.
Right. I mean, they can rent those movies. Well, way back, I wanted to open up the Stoneham Theater one time, a long time ago. And to rent movies like that, it was like between $150 to $200 a week, compared to you rent a top film and you make 2 cents on every $10 admission or whatever. And
Yeah.
that's why the popcorn and stuff is so expensive, because that's where they have to make their money.
Yep.
We used to have a place in Boston called Frankenstein's that showed movies like that. And you can get hot dogs and beers from around the world while they showed the movies in the bar.
Nope, we got thunder.
Yeah, we don't have it yet, thank God.
I'll send it to you.
No, you can have it. You can have it all of it. So, are you buying a storage unit a week or every couple of weeks, James?
Me, I haven't bought a storage unit in 6 months.
Oh, okay.
Right now, I'm working through my own storage unit where I had piled everything. See, back in January and February, my wife got sick. I had bought 3 units right before she went in the hospital.
Yep.
So I was actually in the middle of cleaning them up while going back and forth to the hospital. So I had to take everything out of those units, throw them in my storage so I could do it as quickly as possible and get back to her. And then it took her a couple of months to get better. And by the time she was better, COVID was broke out.
Yeah.
And I couldn't even get into my facility for like the first month. And then once they opened it up, and my wife was sick with COVID at that point, and so she got over her other issue, and then she came down with COVID, had to get her well again. I was shut down. My whole business was shut down for like 4 months.
Wow. Now, is it just you, or do you have a team? Or
It's just me. I every once in a while can get my 19-year-old son to help me with some of the big heavy stuff, but most of it, 99% of the work, I'm doing it by myself. I'm sorting it, cleaning it, selling it.
You got to say there's 3 of you, me, myself, and I, the 3 of us.
Yeah.
That's my biggest fear, because like
I am from the Boston area, Rhonda, but I'm down in Florida now.
one of my biggest fears is to buy storage units. I'd love to, but like Sandy's only off Wednesday and Thursday, so if you got to go on a Saturday and it's just me, to take it out, pack your truck, and then empty the truck, go back, and then what if there is a big piece that, even though you're not going to sell it, I could probably take it to an auction facility to sell it. But still, like, if there's an Anwar, how me alone is going to get an Anwar into the back of a truck?
Well, that's when you call me, Paul.
Well, one, I have a low trailer with a ramp
I
on
didn't
it.
know that, Jerry, but I will definitely take you up on that now.
I'll get to Merrick Check's question in just a second. But to answer your question, dollies are my best friend. I have a furniture dolly that I found in a storage unit. And that's what I use to move all my furniture. And also it's like anything, like I have a dresser right now that I just moved. Take all the drawers out, it make it as light as possible and move it. If it breaks down, break it down as much as you can and then move it in the small pieces. And I would die if I didn't have a dolly.
Wow. Now I do hear a couple of people that I think from California, they say if they have a team, but still, if they're not into the large furniture pieces,
I try to avoid them as much as I can because I know I have to move it by myself. I've never bought any like the big China cabinets or armoire. I've never bought a unit with that stuff, and that's part of why. Usually, what I'm dealing with is like a bedroom suite. So it'd be a dresser, headboard, footboard. That's really the biggest stuff that I have to move.
Well, some of these guys, there's two of the four that have talked about it, and I forget their names. One says the day it becomes his, he'll put an ad in on Facebook Marketplace, free. This is what he takes pictures, free. Come and get it. You got to be here by this or it's gone. The other guy will do an actual ad and say, this is $20, this is $50 or whatever. And he'll sell it while his guys are in there loading. Hello, Cajun Roots. If I missed anybody like Rhonda or whatever, thank you for coming in. And hello, hope you're having a good day. So he'll hope people come there and buy it. So his guys just concentrate on the boxes and the
main stuff.
Yeah, the items that you can handle easily.
Right. And that's what I do. That's one of the things Donna does too. This because I've learned a lot from talking to Donna. That's one of the things she does. Any of the big stuff like refrigerators, furniture, that stuff, she lists it on Facebook Marketplace and tells them that it has to be out by her move out date on the unit.
Right.
And sometimes we price it really, really cheap to get it out the door, but that's what happened. I had one I was looking at this week. It went out of my budget, but it had a big refrigerator right in the front of the unit. And that was my biggest stopping point that stopped me on buying the unit was I didn't want to have to mess with that refrigerator.
Right. James, what do you do with the stuff you don't want to list on eBay?
Well, I get so much stuff. That's why, like, right after I leave here in just a few minutes, I'm doing an auction here on YouTube. That's one way that I get rid of stuff. And most, like what today's auction, most of my lots are going to be closed. I hate listing closed.
Who are you on with today?
Me. I'm doing it over on my channel. In fact, I posted a link to it in your group. I was just waiting an admin approval.
Which group?
The auction resellers.
Okay. If you want, put the link in here also.
Yep.
So it's not auction reseller you? Oh, there it is.
Yeah, the reseller you.
It's on there already. You didn't have to get it approved. It's on there.
I don't know. For some reason, it came up with a message that said awaiting admin approval or something.
Yeah, I made reseller you and the auction channel for anybody just to go in and post about their auctions and stuff like that. Yeah, no, you're in there. You're good.
So, but yeah, I've got that coming up. But that's one of the things that I do. The other thing is we do a ton of donations. I've got my van. In fact, I've been recording this morning for tomorrow's video. And most 90% of what I did today was loading up stuff into my van for donations that we're giving away. Some of it's going to a homeless shelter. Some of it's going to Goodwill.
That's nice.
We do a lot of donations. There's a lot of it's stuff that's not really resellable anyway. It's not in very good condition. I sorted through everything. And like I cherry pick the clothing. The best of the stuff I find is what I take to auction. It's what I put on my eBay. But sometimes the best of what I get is not the best stuff too. I mean, I've been building my business on the cheap, on the low end. Most of my units have been $100 or less. So I get a lot of lower end stuff because that's the reason they didn't get the bids is they didn't have the higher end stuff that people are looking for. So, I mean, I make a lot of my living on $5 and $10 units that nobody else wants.
Right. That's cool.
I have to work my butt off because there's more work in those units. You
Right.
have to work a whole lot harder to make money off of those units. So if you're looking at your time investment, I'd probably lose money. I'd make more at a minimum wage job. But
Right.
it's also building, and I am cash flowing everything. A percentage of everything I make goes right back into the business to buy better units, buy more units, and then a percentage of everything goes into, putting a roof over our head.
That's
Right.
like when we do a show. You start out small, and then as you
Yep.
start making more money at the shows, you get more stuff, and say, okay,
One-
now I can start carrying this stuff, and I can start carrying this, and now you start making more money.
Yep. Start off with one table space. The next thing you know it, you got 2 booths and an end cap and everything.
And
And
you're hiring workers and everything.
yeah,
and
don't I remember that?
Yep. And that's what I'm doing. I'm just slowly growing. I'm slowly building up my business. I'm a rookie in this business. My 1-year anniversary is next week. And I'm still learning every day. And I've made so many mistakes, I can't even count them all, that are part of why I've struggled to build it as fast as I have. But it's growing and it's getting better, and I'm getting better. I'm getting my mindset right, because 90% of this business is mindset in any business, really. And I'm getting my mindset right, and I'm learning every day. January house, I live in Lockhart, Texas, which is between San Antonio and Austin.
And that's like the same thing like with us. Like me, I started doing the shows when I was 14, and here I am going on 60. But you learn all the time. Even now, you still learn.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Do I bring this? Do I do this? Do I do that? And you're gonna make your mistakes and everything. You just chalk it up and you hope for the best and say, hey, if I can at least make my money back and a little profit, and I had a good time, I'm good.
Right.
I found that if you go in there with high expectations, you lose out. Because if you don't reach it, you're like, oh, even though you actually made money, but you're like, oh, I needed to do this, I needed to do it, and next thing you know, you're defeating yourself already. But if you just say, hey, if I go in and it's costing me, like $100 for the unit, okay, I spent $100. If I make back my $100, fine. After that, anything else is profit. And you walk away that way, If you have a good unit that you made $700 on, you're like, hey, that was a good one. And the next one you made $200 on, you're like, hey, that was another good one. But if you say,
Right.
oh, I got to make $1,000 on every, you're going to be like, oh, I didn't, And
Yeah, I mean, if you want to when you get really good at profiling the units, like I know people that do it and they do it really well, you can make $1,000 on every unit. You can make $10,000 on these units. I don't do that. I get smaller, cheaper units, and then I know it's a progression. I'm progressively growing. And I also, if I recommend to people, if you're just starting, what I did when I first started, I didn't go out and buy a unit. I went and cleaned out my own storage. So I started listing and selling stuff on eBay, took that money to go buy my first units.
That's cool.
See, I've got to
And everything has just been cash flow since then. I don't believe in debt. In fact, I started this business to get out of debt. And paying up most of our debt was medical stuff, because my wife and I never really got deeply into debt. We didn't believe in debt to begin with. And then we started working on Dave Ramsey's plans and started really focusing on getting rid of the little debt we did have, which we did in like a year. But part of our reselling started to get us out of debt. So I wasn't willing to go into debt. I don't use credit cards. I don't use anything like that. So we had to cash flow everything we did.
Yep. I've heard a couple people say that, check into the PayPal loan thing. And I say, don't do it. Just, if you don't have it, don't do it, because now you're going to start owing somebody. Even when I had my business, 90% of my orders came in COD paid. I didn't
look at what's going on right now. You know why so many businesses are going out of business and going into bankruptcy? Is because their business is built on debt and they can't pay their debt.
Yep.
If
And
your
then
business
January-
is not built on debt, it's built on cash flow, you
Right.
can sustain these kind of situations like what we're going through right now.
Yep.
If you're built on debt, something like this crisis goes on, it can put you out of business like that.
Right. January House says he loves the mindset comment, and I liked it too. I don't know. Have you ever gone to any of Tony Robbins seminars?
I have read everything. I have never been to one of his seminars, mainly because I can't afford them, but I have read his books. I've got his personal power DVDs. I still listen to them. I've been listening to them for 20 years.
He's a big one on mindset. I went to his, I don't know, I still have my books right here next to me. We walked on the fire and all that stuff. And he's a big one. How fast can you change your mindset? Like that. How fast can you change your mindset? Like that.
You choose to. It's a matter of choice.
Yep.
And
And the thing, like you
then
said,
it's just about learning the strategy. Once you choose to do it, it's just learning the strategy. You
Yep.
can change any habit, whether it's a mental habit, emotional habit, physical habit. You can change any habit like that. You just have to learn
Right.
how to do it. And that's what I've been working on. The thing is I was on that path and then I fell off of it and I fell into, some negativity and my own personal issues. And now I've spent the last several months. That's part of why I took an extended break, even after my wife got better, is I've been working on my mental self, my emotional self, and working on my inner work so that I could come back and get back on YouTube, get back on my business and do it right, which I'm working on every day. And
right.
it also, I believe in that stair step, baby step approach where
Yep.
I try to focus on improving one or two things every day. I'm not trying to change my whole life overnight. I'm
Nope.
trying to focus on changing one or two things every day. And I don't know if I talk about him all the time on my channel, but one of my greatest mentors in my life has been Dr. Wayne Dyer. He taught a lot of spiritual stuff.
Yep.
And one of the things he said is in every day and every way, I'm getting better and better and better. And that's what I try to do. I try to improve something about my life every day, something about my video, something about my business and my family. And every day, can I say I'm better today than I was yesterday?
Right.
And if I do that and I continue improving every day, if you think about it, a 1% improvement daily over the course of a year is 365% improvement.
Right.
So
And you said you're always learning.
always, every day.
Like I've been in business now for myself. I opened my first store in 79. So that gives you an idea. But one thing that a lot of people forget when you're in business is you have to learn how to adapt.
Mm-hmm.
You have to adapt to change. Right now, we're in a world that is completely different than what it was in January.
Mm-hmm.
So,
And I know a lot of people that are not adapting. I
Right.
see a lot of people that are like, oh, I've got to shut down my business because I can't buy storage units because they're not available. There's no live auctions. They're available. You just have to be willing to
Right.
adapt to the change, adapt to the technology, do it online. I hate online auctions, but that's where the business is going. It was already going in that direction, and this pandemic sped it up. I mean, every one
Right.
of our facilities in our area are online now, and they're all saying they're not going back.
right. Frugal City said something that was interesting. I put everything I can on credit cards to get extra cash back. Makes a big difference if you buy a lot. I pay off my balances every month. What I
That's
do,
a trap.
well, what I do,
I am totally against credit cards. All they're doing, all those gimmicks that they use, they're using to trap you. Credit card industry is the dirtiest industry on the freaking planet.
well,
I know because I used to work in customer service for a credit card company like
ah,
15, 20 years ago.
what
It's one
I
of the
do,
dirtiest businesses you can get into.
If you're able to get rid of the stuff quick, but if you can't and you're sitting on it, all it takes is that 1 month or two that you're sitting on the item, and you, like James said, you fall into that trap, and now you stop paying all the interest on it.
right.
You know, and that's
What I do in my business is, and I've done this now forever, as long as I've been with PayPal, with 20 something years, I keep the sales money in PayPal. I never take my money out. So whatever's in there, $1,000, $2,000, whatever. Anything I buy with the PayPal debit card, the MasterCard debit card.
Mhm.
So if there's no money in, I can't take any money out. But if I use that card, I'm still getting my percentage back.
Yep.
And that's the way I've been running my business. So anything I buy for the business to resell, I use that card. And then when I sell it, like if I do an online auction, I send them an invoice through PayPal. So all the money's going in there.
Yep.
The only thing I can't do lately is my money from Amazon has to go into a business account that I have set up. But I still try to only use the PayPal for.
See, I have a business account at my local credit union,
Yep.
and I have my PayPal. Mainly, my PayPal is basically my business account. I just have to have that backup account, and I keep my emergency fund. This is going back to the fact I follow Dave Ramsey. I have a cash emergency fund for my business as well as my personal emergency fund.
That's good.
And that's what's in my bank account.
Yep.
And that's how we survived me shutting down my business for 4 months, was because I had those emergency funds in place.
Right. Rhonda asked how your wife is doing now.
Yeah, I was just about to answer that. She is doing better. In fact, she's been better for a little while. And then I was dealing with my own emotional issues and my own internal stuff that I was dealing with. That's part of what took me so long to come back on and start rebuilding my business. She's actually been better since June, and it was middle of July when I finally actually started getting back into the business.
That's cool. That's good. Well, so if anybody else has any questions, put them in there. This is
But going back to like what we were talking about, it's the same thing like doing a show. You use that money to put back into the business,
yep.
and that's it. And you hope that it grows and that you just keep doing good shows that, keeps bringing in the customers to keep making your money. So that way you can get bigger and bigger, and then you can at least be comfortable. It's like I've always said to people when they say, "Oh, you want to make $1 million?" It's like, no, I want to be comfortable. I want to be able to sit here and say, if I want to go on a trip somewhere and I take money out of the bank, I'm not stealing it from what's supposed to pay, like the electric bill or the cable bill. I don't want to be able to do any of that. And I'd rather just be able to say, yeah, I got that money and I can just use that for that, and I don't worry.
Yeah. Let me answer that question really quick. I'm going to try to make this quick. Basically, one, we do garage sales, thrifting, estate sales, that kind of stuff. My wife loves doing that part. I hate it. I hate going shopping. I hate going to garage sales. I hate going thrifting. My wife loves doing that stuff, and she does that stuff. But for me, I love the treasure hunt. That's why I do storage units. And I don't have to deal so much with people, especially when I buy them online. The only person I really have to deal with is the manager, because I'm very much an introvert. I know it's hard to believe because y'all see me on YouTube and I'm chatting with people all the time, but I'm very much an introvert. So I have to force myself to come out of my shell to do YouTube. But I love getting out there, digging through people's junk and finding the treasure. I grew up with a hoarder. So I grew up digging through junk all the time.
All the time.
And living with a pile of mess that just moved from one place to another. I hated moving it all the time, but when she passed away, I mean, we found so much treasures. A lot of the stuff that I sold to start my business was stuff out of my mom's hoard when she passed away.
See, me, I wouldn't mind getting a storage unit, but whereas there would be a lot of stuff in there, I know that I just have no way of getting rid of it. So I'm like, it's just not worth it for me.
Well, that's what I'm learning is figuring out. I'm still learning every day. That's part of what I'm working on now, is learning how to get rid of it, especially since, like, when I first started last year, one of my primary ways to get rid of a lot of the lower end stuff was going out to flea markets. Well, our flea markets have dried up right now. It's still there, but it's not worth it. The margins are not worth it for me to go out there and set up and make $100. It's way too much time and energy to go into it for me to go out there and make $150 in a 10-hour day.
But that's it. You sit out there for like 10 hours, especially like down here in the South in this wonderful, heat. And you're like, okay, I made $100 today. I don't think so.
And that's
I
what
lost
actually makes
100
it life.
ounces
It
of
just
water
doesn't
that
have
I
the
just
crowd.
poured out of my body.
Yeah, it might come back, it might bounce back, but I don't know. So that's why I started doing YouTube auctions. And I started with Donatello NT, and you were in there with some of the auctions that I did, Paul.
Yeah.
And then I started doing some on my own channel, which is slowly growing because I don't have the following that y'all had over there and that you have here. So I'm building that up, and my auctions are
It's
starting to
just-
grow.
It's
But
just like anything in business, because before I was on at 9 o'clock in the morning, Monday through Friday. And it was tough to get people, I would call people or email people. Would you like to come on? I'd like to interview you. Oh, I don't want to be. Listen, it's just a matter of like me getting to know who you are, and the people in the chat will be interested too. Well, it's 6 o'clock here, and it's like, that's got a point there. So I went to 4. And it's like anything in business. You just got to be consistent. Set yourself a time and a topic or whatever, and just stick with it. Like typically Tuesdays and Thursdays, I have no topic. I have open topic. But now next week, I have inventory lab for Thursday and Friday. So that's going to be a little difficult. Cool. But I just want to keep it consistent to 4, and then just keep building what I have also.
Well, that's why, like, I've already had a few people say, what's your channel, Jerry? And I'm like, huh? I'm like, no, I'm a visitor. I just come on and be with you guys. I don't have the time to say, every day at 5 o'clock, I'm going to be here, because some days I'm not. Like, especially where I got my parents that are in their late 80s. If I have to be at their house to do something, I'm like, I'm not here. So then it's like, well, how can I say, I'm going to be on every day when I can't be?
Right.
I don't know. Sometimes they'll call me up in the morning and say, we need you to come by because we got to do this, that, and the other thing. Oh, okay. So now I'm over there. And like I said, once again, so to me, this is better for me to just, like, Paul, you texted me, say, hey, you want to come on? Okay, I come on. If somebody else like Flippin' Frozen says, hey, you want to come on? I'll be like, hey, okay, I'm available. I'll come on. So for me, this works a lot better for me.
Right. And it's tough. Like you said, if something happens, and there's a lot of people on here that are YouTubers. January House, Melanie starting to do her stuff. They're all going to tell you too that, and like James already said, he has videos he has to edit. There's a lot of hours that you got to put in. Like I already have interviews on tape. Well, tape, yeah, like we were back in the 80s. Interviews on video.
Digital tape.
Yeah, that I haven't edited yet from 2 weeks ago that I have to just sit down and put the time in. Mm-hmm. Yet I did this, and I was surprised. This took me 3 minutes.
See, this is why I like live stream interviews, because then you just
go
live stream it and less editing.
Yep, one take, Paul. That's it.
One take, and it is what it is, and you get what you get. I love live stream because it gives you the opportunity, and you get the opportunity to interact with the audience and talk with the audience and get those direct questions. So I love that, because then they can ask questions that go in line with the conversation.
Right. I can remember.
I've got to take off because my auction starts in about 15 minutes. I just wanted to step in and say hi to everybody.
Yeah, definitely.
Great conversation. And
put a link in again.
Yep. I've got my link right here. Hold on. Let me pull.
What kind of stuff you're going to be selling?
Mostly, I've got a lot of clothes. I've got a bunch of DVDs. I've got a few one-off items, smaller stuff, and basically that's stuff that I'm going to throw it out there. But if nobody bids on it, I'm okay, because I'm probably going to list that stuff on eBay anyway. I just haven't got it listed yet.
All right.
So I've got like 5 lots of clothes. I do have 2 sets of scuba gear. It was an interesting thing. We found that in a homeless person's unit about 6 months ago, and I finally dug it out of my storage yesterday. And we're going to go ahead and auction that off. And yeah, a lot of stuff. Cool. So I've got 14 lots set up. So
it's going to be a lot of money.
Yeah, thank you very, very much for coming in, and everybody check them out too.
Yep. So I'm
We
going
need
on in
to
about
support
15
each other.
minutes. So thank you guys, and I will chat with y'all later.
All right, take care.
Be safe.
You know, Jerry, that's funny. He said about, one take. I can remember when I was doing a radio spot on WBZ with me and Morgan White, and it says, "All right, is Antonelli take 30?" There was one point we would just look at each other. All right, go, and we just laugh. And all right, take 31.
That's why I worked the midnight shift at CGY,
Okay.
so I didn't have to worry about that stuff.
Yeah, that
I
was.
only helped them get all the stuff for the commercials and whatever, and get the music ready, and I did all that stuff. That's what I did over there.
Yep.
But it was nice because we got the concert tickets and everything, and so I mean, look how it paid off because I ended up selling the shirt.
That's
and
good.
Like the wife says, she says, "Do you mind?" And I'm like, "What? I've had them for what, 20, 30 years. I've got my enjoyment out of them. Let someone else enjoy them."
Yep.
It's the same thing. Like, as much as I love Godzilla stuff, all the Godzilla stuff, it's all gonna go. Because, at one point you got to say, like I said, when's enough enough? Because I don't want to be doing the shows when I'm in my 70s.
Right.
I'll still be, when I go into Walmart or whatever, I'll still look in the toy aisle like an idiot and say, "Oh, yeah, okay, all right, nope,
Yeah.
nope." And, but you just, keep your hands in it, and that's it.
Right.
But
I have backstage passes for the Prince concert. Do you remember when I won the Prince contest? Back when Purple Rain came out, remember the motorcycle I had we had it redone like Purple Rain? I won the nationwide contest. My store won, and the prize was a chance to see Prince anywhere in the world. And of course, when he came to Florida, he says, "No, I'm all done. I'm not doing anything else." So we got to see him in Worcester, and they gave me the backstage passes and everything. But I've been thinking if I should put those up.
But that's it. I mean, like, once I go to the storage unit again, I mean, I know I've got like the bandanas, I've got the program books, I've got all that. Like, I was talking to a couple people, and they're like, "Well, what else?" I said, "Well, I got like master tapes." And they're like, "What do you mean you got master tapes?" "I've got the master tapes from the recordings." "How did you get that?" "Because I know people, and people know me, and next thing you know, they're like, 'Here, you want this stuff?' And you get it, and you're like, 'Oh, okay.'"
Nice.
And you're sitting there with these things, because back when, like in the 80s, that was when the bottom fell out of all this collecting. Remember? I mean, you couldn't get any money for anything, really.
Right.
Everything was on the cheap. So you bought like a Spider-Man #1 was like $100,
Right.
And yeah, whatever, and you just threw it aside.
Have you heard the news that DC Comics is running into troubles?
I've heard that for the last 5 months. They've been trying to get something going, and I know that Disney offered them a huge amount of money, but they said no, because they know that if they sell, I think that if they sell to Disney, whereas Disney already owns Marvel.
Yeah, there'll be.
I mean, the only good that would come out of that is that you would get the cross promotions.
Right.
Easily, because now, whether it's in movie or in the books. But DC's been struggling. But that's because DC they don't listen to the audience. And that's where Marvel exceeds. Because
they did that.
We're going to gear our books towards this generation. And that's why, like, Spider-Man and X-Men and all that took off. I mean, I still look at some of the old books, and you see the covers for DC Comics, and you're looking at it like, what the hell were they thinking?
Right.
Stupid little silly comments like, "Oh, is he going to buy the ice cream today?" And it's like, this is on the cover of Superman? Like, What the hell is this? So
Yeah, they
and they're
did
still doing
the
that
new
stuff.
52 and stuff, and try
Yeah,
to
and they,
reintroduce everybody again.
yeah, and they keep trying, and they just don't know. But like I've said, what's funny between the two is that Marvel makes fantastic movies now.
Right.
But they suck for doing TV, whereas DC's the opposite. DC
Yeah.
sucks doing the movies, but they do great on doing TV shows. So it's like a match made in heaven, but they just don't want to match up.
Right. Yeah, I was here listening to the news yesterday, and they were saying like one of the big mistakes that they made was not giving Jim Lee the proper role over books. They put him over some character development or something, or TV development, and
He was only involved in development projects. That was it.
yeah, and he shouldn't be. He should be in with the books.
Yeah. But that's what I mean. That's the problem with DC. They don't pay attention, and next thing you know, they're like, "Well, what happened?" Oh, and it's like you were stupid again.
Yeah,
You didn't listen to your audience.
right. And now the last thing I heard from John, I tried to get Ted on, but he wasn't feeling too well a couple of weeks ago, is DC is not distributed by Diamond anymore.
Yep.
DC is on their own, and it's like, well, how are stores going to deal with that?
Now they got to go through two sources to get their stuff.
Yeah. So
And DC did that because they're trying to consolidate their money so that way they get more of it.
probably, I mean, it's tough enough owning a comic book store. Really tough opening a comic book store.
Nowadays, yeah.
But well, even back then, I mean, you never knew. You order all this stuff thinking, all right, August, September, October, and then it all comes in August and say, what the hell? Or it doesn't come in August at all, but it all comes in October. Say, what the hell?
You're like, wait a minute. I'm dying over here. Where's my stuff?
Yeah. So it's they're not consistent. That's for sure.
No, but that's the problem. But the reason why is that once again, it's because Diamond is the place. So they're like, where are you going to go? So you're stuck. There's
Right.
nothing you can do. You're stuck going through them. And, and that's what happens.
Marrakesh says, do you find vintage Disney items in Orlando, Kissimmee area?
Yes.
All the time. The funny thing is, and I just picked up a couple of pieces at an estate sale today. You'll find if you go to enough estate sales, there are people that used to work at Disney. And there was one, a piece came up at auction last week that I wanted to bid on. And actually I did bid on it. But after $60, $75, I said, I am not interested because I'm only going to resell it. It was an award, and it wasn't real signatures by Roy Disney or anything like that, but fake signatures, an award, bronze, with the earth and then the Mickey ears over it. And it says, thank you very much for your 30 years of service to us, the Disney company and all this other stuff. Roy Disney, Eisner, I think, was on it, and they were engraved on the plaque that was on there. I figured, hey, it might go for $20 or whatever. It went for over 100. And it's like, really? So, but you'll find that there's a lot of people, because down here, even my neighbors, when I lived in Kissimmee, they said you should go work at Disney at least one day a week because the perks are really good. And the perks are you get tickets to take you and your family into the park anytime you want. So I went for an interview and I wanted to see. And I'm sitting down. Now, granted, I have years of management experience. She said, well, we only hire managers from within. She says, but the first thing I'm going to tell you is you got to shave off that beard. And I looked at her and I says, not for $7 an hour, I'm not. And that's what it was. So, but I wanted to listen to them or whatever. And yeah, I mean, look at the books that I'm selling, the eyes and ears, and I have some of the employee manuals and stuff. I got those at estate sales from people that used to work there. So yeah, you do find stuff every once in a while. You just got to look.
Me, just about every time I go to a garage sale, if I go to 10 of them, at least 4 of them, they have some kind of Disney item on their table.
And a lot of times you'll find it's an employee item, right?
Yep. Yep.
Yep. And not for nothing, I forget who at Marrakesh, the cast member items are the best ones to get because they're only given to Disney employees are called cast members. So
Yep.
those are the only ones that get that stuff. Like I have a bunch of cast member pins that were given to me by people that work there. So those are the things that you want. If you're going to look for collectability and stuff, because those are extremely limited because they're only given to cast members certain times. Yep. Limited edition.
But the thing is, it depends on your area. Like down here, you can only get peanuts for it. But if we brought it up north, we'd get a bucket load.
Yep.
Because all that stuff is not even available because I think there's like maybe one Disney store left up in Massachusetts.
Really? Wow.
Yeah. And I think
the name badges, even the name badges people look for all the time. People have their name badge. And if you look at some of the name badges, they'll have a little pin, a little bronze Mickey, Steamboat Willie. There's 3 of them that I think I have one of each. One's for 5 years service, 10 years service, and 20 years service. Those are hard to get, but there again, cast members. Those are cast member items that they have. But you could find them. You could definitely find them. And T-shirts and stuff. The weirdest thing, I find more Disney T-shirts when I go to New Hampshire sourcing than I do in some of the Goodwills and stuff here. I guess because everybody goes there, here, and then go back home and say, I don't want this anymore.
Yeah. But that's because we can get it all so cheap down here.
Yeah.
Yeah,
exactly.
So we don't bother with it.
To choose one source over another, Diamond is hard enough to deal with. Oh, DC Sells knows about Diamond.
Yeah.
Hey, Jerry, you're everywhere today, NASCAR Man says.
Yeah, he was with me there with Fluffy. He can tell you about that wonderful auction.
Nice. It's all about demographics and area. Of course, you guys have plenty of Disney stuff, which means nothing in that area, but in other areas.
Like what I said.
Yep.
Yeah. Because see, like I got this. Oh. And this is from Shanghai Disney.
Okay, yep.
But I can't get anything for it down here. I bring it to a show, nobody cares.
Right.
But I'm sure that if I went up to like Boston Comic Con, it would disappear off my table in a heartbeat.
Right. Yeah, Marrakesh. I have Disney pins going back to the 70s. But that's because I've been dealing with them for so long. Plus, I used to run a club for Disney collectors back in the 80s. I can remember selling pins to Leonard Maltin in California. We went to the Mouse Club show in Anaheim at Disneyland. That was like one of my highlights. But hey,
that's what I like about this though, is all through the years, working for Creation Convention and everything, is all the people you get to meet, the things you got to do that, you wouldn't have never done before.
Right.
But to be with these people and all that, and all the celebrities that I've got to meet and everything, and not just like anybody else. Yeah, you meet them at a table, say hi. It's like, no, I go out to dinner with them and everything, and you hang around with them the whole weekend, and you're up in their room or what, and you're chit chatting and whatever. So it's like what we're doing here, and you're like, oh yeah, but I'm with the guy that plays Jason. Okay,
Right. Exactly. Yeah, good times.
So, to me, that's what I've always liked about this, is that kind of thing that I say, yep, okay, it's not bad.
Right. Yeah, good times. I mean, I tell people, I said, yeah, I was with me and some friends, and we went to our friend's breakfast place in East Boston, and Andre's sitting there having, a dozen eggs and a pound of bacon like it's nothing.
Yeah. Well, I remember when I took my old girlfriend one time to the Boston Garden for wrestling on Saturday night. Now, since I knew I was with WWE in a way, I would help them out a lot of times when they were in the area. So I knew what was going to happen Sunday morning. So I got her up early, and we went to Revere to the IHOP.
Yeah.
And she says, "Why are we coming here so early?" I says, "You'll see." In comes Scott Hall, Kevin Nash, Tatanka, and they all come in and they're like, "Hey guys," and they're like, "Hey," and next thing you know, we're sitting down having breakfast with them all. Because why? Because from there they go up to the right down the street. There was a gym place, and they would all go there in the morning afterwards. So
Right.
I knew the routine. It was like, "No, what are you doing?" Say, "Oh yeah, we saw the show and everything." So it was like, and then after that, she's like, "How did you know?" And I said, "Because I know their schedules."
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So
Good times.
And
Well,
yeah,
all right.
o'clock.
Gonna cut it here. Thank you for coming in, Jerry, and talking.
Not a problem. You know that, Paul.
And thanks everybody for stopping by and spending some time with us. Tomorrow it'll be the Polly Dolly show, the Dolly and Polly show.
The P&D.
Yep, Age Before Beauty.
DPs? That don't sound good.
Yeah, yeah. So we'll have that tomorrow. It's an auction, our usual auction deal. No, thank you, everybody, Melanie and Marrakesh and everybody that came in.
Yep. Thank you.
Sunday be going on for Dolly will be going on. I think it's Dolly's Sunday to go on her channel for an auction.
You're not doing one Sunday?
I might go on with her if I'm back in enough time, because now Saturday, the auction that I go to, the local, well, it's not local, it's 90 minutes away. They do one tonight and Saturday, but pickup is Sunday, 12 to 2. So if I have to go all the way up there, I'll never make it back on time.
Yeah.
So that's why I said to Dolly, can we, let's switch off every week. And I think from now on Sundays, we're going to start at 1. So if you want to come on, let me know if you want to sell, because man, I need to sell stuff.
You and me both.
Yeah, but you have it all in one room. I have.
No, I don't. I have the stuff in the storage unit.
You have a storage unit, but I got to talk quiet because Sandy's in the other room.
Oh.
I have 3 8-foot tables in the living room full of stuff. I have my eBay room full of stuff. I have one of the bedrooms full of stuff. I just can't fit any more stuff, but we just keep buying stuff.
I know. Me too.
So Sandy says it's okay. She understands.
It sounds like my wife. Yeah. No.
Yeah. So
But yeah.
but I do need to sell stuff.
I've got, plenty of stuff to sell. It's just no shows, so it makes it harder.
Right. And the other problem is, and I don't know if it's actually a problem, and I'm sorry to keep rattling. Excuse me. I do the show at 4:00 Monday through Friday, and there's people that come on and says, "What do you got for sale?" And it's like, I don't want to be. In my real estate career, I had the Superman syndrome. It's like that's all you could do is short sales. Is that short sale guys? Well, I didn't call you because I didn't know you could do that. I don't want to be just a sale guy that every time you see me, I'm hawking something. Hey, $2, $3. I want to put some information and stuff out there also.
Yep. You want to help people.
Right. So, but anyway, I have this bling for $1. Start this.
Oh, Christ.
So
You got the Mardi Gras show, right?
Yep. So are you not on Facebook anymore?
I don't know if they've allowed me back yet. I just haven't bothered to go because, once I leave here, it's I'll probably putz around the house, do a couple of things, and it's make supper and everything, and then I got to spend time with the family and all that, and
yep.
So then next thing you know, it's like, gee, I didn't check. Oh well, no big deal, and I don't go. I mean, right. I'm sure that it's probably my restrictions probably been lifted. But I'm like, if not, I'm like I said, I've gone this long without them. I haven't lost sleep.
Right.
You know, but the only thing I would miss, and the only way I would probably go back on, is if I decide to do another poster auction.
Right.
And that would be when I would probably check and say, okay, I'm going to do another poster auction. Let me come back, you know, oh, I can come back on. Cool. Okay, now I'll put up the posters, and I'll do that for like a day or two and get rid of a lot more stuff and say, okay, the stuff is gone, and, you know, made some more room in the house.
Okay.
Because that turned into now my biggest thing is the posters.
Right.
I'm still at like 9,000 of them.
Wow.
So, you know, so that's a lot. I mean, even though I got a lot of toys, but the toys can go quick.
Right.
You know, you put out, you know, you say, okay, here, I got this, $5, you know, boom, boom, you know, even though you're losing a bit of money, you sell a lot and you get most of your money back. You're like, I'm happy now, you
Right.
know, and you make a big room in your house where, because those take up more room than the posters, you know. If I don't have them in there, you know, they're all like what you got, you know, in a poster tube. So
Right.
like a poster tube, I can fit like 10, 15 posters.
Yep.
Don't take up any room, you know, put that in the corner. Okay, good. 10, 15 cars or figures, that takes up a lot of room.
Exactly.
So, you know, that's what makes it tough is just that, you know, and that's why we want to get rid of the toys because they just take up so much room. And like I said, I've had a lot of this stuff for so long,
Right.
you know, and you say, you know, what does it do? Oh, it sits there on the shelf and, you know, it looks pretty. And, but then you're like, yeah, and so what? You know?
Exactly. All right, man. I will be in touch. I get your number, so I'll just text you.
Yeah. You need me for
Sounds
anything,
good.
Holly, you know that.
All right. All right. Have a good night.
Yep. Everyone
Thank
stay
you.
safe.
All right. Take care, everyone. Thank you for coming in.